Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Matt, aka Thanatos, and I'm a little shaky right now. We are officially live, and today is pretty momentous. It's monument. It's huge. Today's a big day. Uh, I I am freaking out a little bit. I'm a little shaky. I had to take a shower real quick, so I could get the nervousness off of me a little bit. Try to be done with this here pretty quick. Um, but yeah, I've spent the past 2 years, almost 3 years, in a much more serious comic collecting mentality versus just buying books to read them, and it's it's been a crazy journey, right? Between YouTube, Instagram, everything that's going on in my personal life. It's been a giant roller coaster, and I've learned a lot. I've made a ton of mistakes along the way, and I'm assuming that that's happened to just about everybody else that will be watching this. Um, it's been crazy, and I remember I started this whole thing with like the CBCS forums, and I remember talking about or like seeing these guys, these older collectors who always preach that you can always get your Holy Grail. You can achieve it. Obviously, for like Action Comics #1 and Detective Comics 27, like those are a little bit more out of reach for most people. So I am happy that I'm a Green Lantern fan, right? And yes, John. By the way, thanks everybody for being in here. I made this as clickbaity as possible because if you know me, a lot of my videos I don't do clickbait. I'll say like comic haul or unboxing. This one I full blown was like, you know what? I want people to see this, so I did make a very clickbaity title. But trust me, it's not clickbait it'll live up to the hype, at least for me, for Green Lantern fans. So thank you all for coming out here and watching. So anyway, you can, from the CBCS forums, I took away that you can get your Grail. It might take a while, but it could potentially even pay for itself, right? So over this course of these 2-3 years, I've bought spec books, I've flipped books, I've found deals, and then I've had them pressed and cleaned and submitted for grading, all with the intent to eventually get this book. And even when you get your Holy Grail, it might not be the one that you want. It might not be the copy you dreamed of. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Over the course of time, like you get when you see this book, you'll know like it was obvious. Like most of you can probably just be like, oh, I know exactly what it is. And you're going to see it and you're going to be like, wow. But for me, I wanted a very specific copy of this book. And it took a long time to find it. And when I found it, I talked to TJ, I talked to some other guys about like, maybe it's not the right time for me, but at the same time, if they come out with Green Lantern core stuff, like this book is just going to go through the roof. And I mean, maybe not through the roof, but it's definitely going to become harder to get. So I had the opportunity now to take advantage. I have the comics. So a lot of my comics, honestly, are going to be on sale after this because this was the final goal. Like the only reason I have a Hulk 181, GSX1, some of these books that don't really fit in my personal collection, those I'm going to keep mostly for like investment purposes. But there are some other books, a lot of different books that I bought with the intention of reselling to cover the cost of this specific book. So a lot of those will be up and available because if you watched Whitewell Comics and the final cut last night on his channel, you will know that I am done. Like it feels great to say that, and it's also kind of scary. And not to say that I'm done with YouTube. There's so much more content out there as far as reading, doing reviews, all this other stuff. But I'm done with the spec. I'm done with the flipping. I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore because my goal has been achieved. I'm done. Which gives me more time now to focus on stories. I get to actually I'm not just looking at books because they have good covers by cover artists. I get to look at stories and be like, that's a good read. And I feel like actually I've kind of been transitioning to that. Instead of reading comics, I've been going back to reading a lot of novels that I've kind of walked away from for a little bit. So this feels good. Like I've bought Grails before, and always when you buy Grails, you're like, there's always something next. There's always that I have to get this, and then you get it, and then you're like, okay, well now I have to get this. And that completely changed when I made this purchase. I feel like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Like I no longer have to buy comics for the sake of buying comics to sell for other purposes, or I don't know, like I'm good. I feel like I got closure with my comic collecting, this journey that I've gone on. And I think, some people will go their entire lives on this journey and enjoy the whole thing. But for me, I'm very much a goal-focused person. I'm very goal-oriented. I want to find something, get it, and then find something new to enjoy. There's a huge world out there. And not to say that comics aren't a huge part of my world, but I feel like now my focus can go from trying to get this specific book to doing something else in comics. So I'm very excited about that. So anyway, here she is. Here's the box. I have I have a respirator here just in case. Yep. Let's just get to it. I'm gonna try to get this away from. This is very well packaged. That's pretty awesome. They wrote a little note on here on this other box. I love comics as much as you do. I love them so much. I am the best packer on earth. Like my work? Say so on eBay. Hope you enjoy your book as much as I did. Yeah, so I saw this on eBay, and I definitely questioned my entire life because this is obviously the most money I've ever spent on a comic. And I'll tell you after the reason why I felt comfortable doing it, because I have kids. You can't just drop $5,000 on something and be okay with it unless you have just, the disposable income for that. Oh, very well done. Look at these little corners. That's awesome. I'm going to keep these. So I spend my life savings on it. That would be terrible. And I definitely have to, you have to make those decisions, whether a book is worth it. For me, I feel like the closure of this is worth it. And the fact that one day, hopefully my kids will see it and appreciate my passion that I had for comics. I was actually going to open this. Tony Sanders is here. I was going to open this tomorrow night on What's Your Grail with Tony Sanders. But it came early, and there was no way. There's no way I could have waited for that. Are there any guesses? Go ahead. Make your guesses. And also has to come with grades. .9, Green Lantern 1. Showcase 22, 9. Isn't that the highest grade for Showcase 22? 9.2? And I'm pretty sure there was like a 9.0 that sold for some crazy amount of money recently. All right. Drum roll. That's not a drum roll. The biggest upgrade of my entire life. I got a Showcase 22 in a 5.0 with the most impressive part, honestly, to me is off-white. Maybe never going to see that. I don't know. Off-white to white pages, which is so hard to find on these Showcase 22s. Like crazy difficult. You see a lot of cream to off-white. Every copy that I've owned. So I'm going to tell you about this little journey that I've gone on with these Showcase 22s. I have a 4.0 right here. So thank you guys. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. When I said that the CBCS guys talked about upgrading to your Holy Grail. So when I first started, I said, I want a mid-grade Showcase 22 with off-white or better pages. And I started by buying a raw copy off of Reddit, which was the sketchiest thing ever. And if you go to my videos, my very first YouTube video was me unboxing a 3.0, a 3.0 of it. And I thought, I was very happy with it. And that's actually currently the copy that Alex, the comic hoarder, has right now. And I loved it. It's actually it's the nicest presenting 3.0 I've ever seen. If it wasn't for like some of the spine issues, it was beautiful. So I had that. And then the opportunity came up for this 4.0. And unfortunately, I did overpay for this 4.0. I bought it when it was definitely felt like it was all on its upward trajectory, but it kind of peaked and dropped back down. So I lost on the 4.0. But that doesn't bother me so much as the fact that I was able to transition from a CBCS 3.0 to cream to off-white pages to a 4.0 with off-white pages. And then I went one more. So this is my third copy of Showcase 22, my final copy of 5.0 with off-white to white pages. And it's been huge. It's been a fun journey of like going from Holy Grail to Holy Grail to Holy Grail, because every single time it's a different experience. And I'm actually pretty sure I wore this same shirt. This is the exact same shirt I wore on my very first YouTube video, unboxing that CBCS 3.0. And that's actually pretty funny to me. I had a bushier beard. I had just gotten back from Afghanistan. It was ugly. But just from looking at it, I can tell that the greens are sharper. Actually, this like some of the damages on my 4.0 to the 5.0 are pretty similar. But the colors are definitely sharper. The back is nicer. And then having that off-white to white pages definitely adds a little bit more for me, for someone specifically who loves Showcase 22. And yes, the 4.0 with off-white pages is available. And I'm actually going to be doing a huge Instagram. I've never sold. I've put some books up on Instagram, but I don't think I've ever successfully sold anything on it, because I wanted to keep that page about me and my personal life and my personal collecting. But with this, I think I'm going to use like a one-time only sell the Showcase 22 and a bunch of other books that I talked about on Whitewell Comics' channel last night. But yeah, this I don't even know. Like my mind is like it's crazy. Like to think that you start out with this super lofty goal, and then to see how it evolves, where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to get a 5.0, so I can get a 3.0. I can get a raw copy, and it came back a 3.0. And then you come to that point where like, if I sell some of these books, these spec books, less spec books, I'm not a big fan of the spec books. I am a big fan of finding great deals at LCSs and flea markets and stuff, and then being able to flip them, which definitely helps. And it still feels a little unethical to me, but goal in sight, got to focus on it, got to do what you got to do. So then I was able to get the 4.0, and then and you better believe that since that time, I've had like every single Showcase 22 in CGC, like 4.0 and above, on my watch list. I watch them all the time. I can't help myself because I'm waiting. And there was a 5.0 that sold recently, but it didn't have the right colors. Like there's so many things. Like when you look at Showcase 22s, you'll see the ones that have the very light, kind of diluted gray or green, and then there's the ones where the green is darker and more rich, and that is what I wanted. And so the 3.0 that I originally had the nicest greens compared to, it had nicer greens than my 4.0. And then this 5.0 actually has that same rich, dark green. So it's three different things about this book that made it the perfect copy for me. The grade being a 5.0, so it hits that mid-grade mark that I wanted. Off-white to white pages hits that off-white or better mark that I wanted. And then the darker green, which personally was my color of choice as far as cover appearance. So this was huge for me. This is the most expensive comic I will ever buy in my entire life. Probably the most money other than like a house or a car that I'll ever spend on anything hobby related. And it's crazy. Anyway, again, thank you guys all for hanging out and watching. TJ, enjoy going back to work. I'm sorry. Ever see you say that now? What else is there? Like, I'm not an Alan Scott fan. I'm not a big Alan Scott fan. So there's no reason for me to go after any Golden Age Green Lantern. I definitely do not need a 6.0. I'm happy with where I'm at. Like I said, that closure, it was so intense when I hit that buy it now. I wasn't expecting it, but it really felt like I could just shred up all of my want lists. I didn't care. Like, I'm gonna sell my House of Secrets 92. I'm going to sell my Rifleman 10, books that I love, but I don't necessarily think fit in my collection. Swamp Thing a little bit more fits, but like I know what I want and what I'm going to keep, and then everything else is going to go. Well, everything but like AOKs and stuff. This journey, I wouldn't be here without all of you guys. So in the two-ish years that I've been on YouTube, and less time, I think, even in that 1 year that I've been on Instagram, you guys have been so supportive, and also been terrible at peer pressuring me and enabling me. You're like, should I get this? And everybody's like, yeah, you should get that. Like, all right. But without that, I wouldn't have found a lot of, I wouldn't have some books that I'm able to sell for better prices to make up for this. I've definitely spent a lot of money on comics, more than I probably should have, but it feels like I was able to turn a bunch of comics to kind of cover and make up for a lot of that. So it doesn't feel like I spent as much as I think I did. But yeah, so all the support and all the subscribers, all the followers, all the comments, all the views, the thumbs up, all of those have led to this point. So thank you all so much for being here and for witnessing this and for being friends. I've met so many good people through YouTube. Again, I'm not ending YouTube. This is not a dramatic conclusion to my YouTube career or my Instagram social media. But this does allow me to change my priorities, change my focus elsewhere. Hopefully we'll finally be able to get that Nerd Alert video out with John's Comics with Kids. I don't have to. I can delete everything off my watch list on eBay. I'm deleting Key Collector app. Like, I don't need to collect comics anymore. I can finally just get a pull file of books that I want to read, and then I can sit down and enjoy them without getting, or I can sit down and eat dinner with Melody or my kids and not get eBay notifications. You know, like that noise. That's almost become like a Pavlov effect. You know, like it releases endorphins when that stupid eBay alarm goes off. And all of you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't need that anymore. It's gone. And hopefully it gives me a little more time to focus on YouTube. I've definitely fallen off the cliff as far as making content and watching videos. So I'm sorry to all you amazing YouTube creators. I have failed to watch a lot of videos recently just because too much going on, just everything. So, yep, I can finally rest these collecting hands and dedicate myself to something different. But this is not the end of everything else. So again, guys, look at this. Bloop. I wish I had Alex 3.0 still here so I could have it right underneath there. If I do sell this before next Monday, this is I'll still take a picture. This is gonna be the best. Was it multiple copy Monday? Multi-copy Monday? Yeah, I got. It's kind of hard to see with all the glare for you guys, but then the side by side, the 5.0 is. I mean, it's obviously nicer. I think the only thing that is kind of more busted is like the top. The corner it's pretty. This upper right corner right here is pretty jacked. It's definitely not, a perfect comic. And then some of the, like right along the spine versus the 4.0. Honestly, very similar damage right along the spine here. But this is a little less janky. But this one, even the back cover is a little dirty. It's got some stains on it. This is definitely, I feel like this should have been a 4.5. It's really not that close. But overall appearance, other than the spine, there is one color breaking fold right there. Right there. And then the color, it presents so much better. This is beautiful. So if anyone is interested in a 4.0 Showcase 22, I'm definitely not going to charge any, or I'm not going to ask for what I paid for this because it's not there anymore. That train left a long time ago. So I know I'm going to take a hit on it, but that works out for everybody else, I think. And then if there's any other books that you guys know are in my collection that you're interested in, just let me know. Just shoot me an Instagram message. The 5.0 is definitely brighter. The colors definitely pop a lot better. So, there's that. See, but that's like, so for examples, Matt just mentioned, like, I should hold on to that until the movie is announced. But that doesn't always work because, I mean, you see like Captain Marvel movies announced, prices spike real quick, and then they've plummeted since then. You can never rely on comic book movie news, I think, to judge when a good time to sell a comic is. And like, why I don't want to sit here and hold on to something that may or may not rise in value. I mean, I'm hoping it rises in value because that would be better for me with my 5.0, but I'm not like not desperate to come back, like to get my investment back for this, because this is a book I would have paid a lot more than what I paid for this 5.0. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is the culmination of these few years of comic collecting, and yep, it's finally happened. I have Green Lantern comics freaking everywhere. I've been doing all this. I have all this stuff everywhere, and I like now. I have my spot open right there from where my 4.0 was, next to the 8.5. So I will be putting this in a bag. I'm gonna sit here and stare at it for a little bit and definitely look it over. But it feels good, man. Thank you, Javier. I do think this 4.0 probably could have been a 4.5. I don't know about the 5.0 because of the back. But so anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for witnessing this. Apologize for the clickbaity title, but this comic deserves the views that hopefully this video gets. And again, thank you all for subscribing, for following. Tomorrow night I will be on Tony Sanders' channel for What's Your Grail, so this is kind of perfect timing. But that's all I got for today. And then maybe this weekend I have a box right there from TJ Watson. It is not a Watson box. It is a Watson crate. It's a Watson crate. He tried his hand at making a loot crate for Melody and I. So we will hopefully, if we have time, we'll be unboxing that live for you guys this weekend. But thank you all so much for hanging out, and enjoy the rest of your week. Happy New Comic Book Day. Bye.